Question I have is, so now this October month, everybody's going to go for mammograms. So now you go like me and they tell you there's a lump. So now you're already in panic mode. Now you want to see the doctor, but Dr. Etienne is bumper. So now you can't think or sleep. What is the time limit that would be okay for you to, from the day that you get your mammogram and it's positive till you see a surgeon? What would that look like for you? Within how many weeks?
So I think in principle, we want to try and see that someone starts with some sort of treatment within about sort of 6 weeks. It's not a long period of time. So now, start of treatment doesn't mean that you have an operation. So in theory, lots of stuff can happen in between, and you can have that. The average cancer, if you have a fairly slow-growing, estrogen-sensitive cancer, in theory, even 3 months will probably not make any difference. But if you have a triple negative or a HER2-positive cancer, then 6 or 8 weeks can certainly, if you then go to 8 weeks, it can start making a difference in terms of the size of the tumor. So, but I think the important thing is, it's not as much how long can you wait. The important thing is you do not have to have a mastectomy the second day after the biopsy result.
Yeah.
And in fact, you shouldn't have a mastectomy. Anybody that advises a patient today and say, ma'am, you have cancer, I'm going to book you tomorrow or the day after for an operation. That is 1975 all over again. We don't treat cancers that way. So firstly, you make the diagnosis, and you don't just want to know if it's cancer or not. You want to know, is it cancer? What type of cancer? What are the estrogen, progesterone, HER2 status on that? Then you want to have staging investigation. You want to know whether the cancer had spread. Now, if it's a very small cancer, you don't have to do lots of stuff, but especially if it's a positive cancer. Number 3 is you actually want to know whether it's a genetic cancer. So you want to have a genetic test if you're a young patient, if you have a strong family history. So there are lots of little things that need to happen. So even though if someone phones me today, I'm not going to see them tomorrow and I'm not going to have an operation in 2 weeks' time, there's lots of stuff that's going to happen in that period of time. So they are already in a process of being sorted out, even though they haven't seen me personally. So we have a whole team of people that are already sort of starting to manage that. And I think that's the important part is once you get diagnosed is to find yourself a team of people that will help you manage your cancer. So you cannot bear this burden alone. You cannot do everything alone. You need good advice to make good decisions, and I think that's the important part. So, but I mean, the reality is now after lockdown, we are seeing a massive surge of cancer patients that are coming out, some with really big cancers. But that's why it's so important that not every cancer gets an operation up front. About half of the cancer should actually get either chemo or an endocrine therapy up front before they get their surgery, because then by the time I do the operation, I know already whether this cancer is sensitive to the treatment or not.